there?
Yeah, why is it there?
These are actually good for you.
These bangs, you get all the good things.
I've honestly never had a bag.
You don't feel it.
Are you recording this class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a debate?
We're going to do a little bit of cross rivaling. Morning, everybody. Hey.
Change your stupid dude. Hey.
Why do we call people names, Michael?
If you texted me, like, are you coming? I'm like, probably not. Oh, yeah.
He stayed overnight and he woke up and he told me like, alright, let's get clean. He was gonna help. But I just kinda wanted like everyone out. So I just said like, oh, it's fine.
Did you go? Yeah.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, even though it's kind of our Monday. I'll say this every first day of the week, but it's our chance to have a new beginning. No matter what happened last weekend, it's a fresh start, right? And we start over. So good or bad, doesn't matter. We're starting our new week. I'm giving you those packets. You can tuck them away. It's for our next unit. Maybe just call me a little bit of hyper vigilant about the what ifs, but this is for Monday. We will start this unit. So it's our social packet. Have that just somewhere that you can grab a hold of it. You'll also notice you didn't get a vocab chart because our next unit you will not be doing that unless things didn't go so well for you on your test. Speaking of tests, your test is this week on Thursday, and I believe that's the only other day I see you. So today's it.
What does this thing do again today? Is that what I heard?
The vocab chart will be actually due on the day of the test on Thursday.
Alright.
So you'll turn that in.
Like 3 days class.
So it's a good opportunity for anybody to ask any questions about test and testing in here. Does anyone have any logistical or just any questions about the test? Yes.
Do you know how many questions there will be?
I think there are 60.
Holy dude.
That's pretty average.
Wait, this isn't our
Average.
final exam.
Average.
That's
54
correct.
questions.
We have, our unit tests are anywhere from 50 to 65. Multiple choice, Leah?
That was my
Yep, multiple choice. Remember I said to you your first essay will be this next unit. So I'm kind of giving you a, let's break us all in here.
Is it like a
Michael.
partner test or?
It is not a partner test. It isn't, sorry. I ask everybody to turn in your phones the day of the test. Like I'll have a basket, and then you'll get them back when the bell rings. So bring other work. You know, if you are a fast test taker, you'll have some time. If you are a slow test taker, which a lot of us are, you can take the entire class period.
What if we don't get done?
You will have into 5 minutes to the next period to get it done. So you'll have to just speed it up at that point. Okay, so that's our test. Well, let me know. Send me a note if you have a question before Thursday about it. So Monday mornings, or for us today, I'd like to share with you my little bits of what I'm thinking. Remember I was telling you I always put something on the board. I'm going to read this one to you. It's from Cleo Wade. I just love her. She's a great author. It's called Heart Talk. But this relates really to what we're going to talk about today. Our goal is to talk about ethics and psychological research. And if we think about where do we base our ethical principles off of, a lot of it comes from how we were raised. And then all of you have kind of started to grab your own ethical principles as you've gotten older too. You might have started to deviate from your parents, their beliefs, or you may have actually taken their beliefs and made them even stronger. So what she says is this: when we live with honesty, when we live with positive intentions, when we live with fairness, love, and transparency. We do not need to spend our time explaining ourselves to other people. Explanations are only necessary when our actions require justifications. And justifications are necessary only when our intentions are murky. Live your life with clear and good intentions, and you will never have to spend your time explaining what you do or who you are. Because you know who you are, and you will always hold true to that. So those are your ethical guidelines, your morality. So our learning target is on the board. You guys can take that vocab chart out and fill that out. There's only 2 words with the vocab chart for today. Learning target I, what are the human and ethical guidelines? Number 43 and 46 are that particular learning target. 43 and 46. What are the human and ethical guidelines? And we're also going to touch a little bit toward the end of today on learning target C, identifying basic and applied research. And I have that over on that board.
Is it 43 through 46 or 46 through?
Just, so just.
Yep, 43, 46. Thank you. Okay, so on your packets, we're actually moving on to the yellow sheet, and all of these notes, these 6 things that you need to know, are there for you. So feel free to just write any personal notes that you would like. But the very first yellow sheet talks about the IRB, the International Review Board, ethical guidelines. So there's 6 of them. I've cliff noted the versions for you right there. Let's just take a moment to just walk through them, and then I'm going to give you some applications where you guys are going to read some different scenarios and then tell me what you think. So informed consent. Sophia, can you please read that to us?
Permission to take part unless it is something that happens to them in everyday life.
Yep, so give me an example of where everyday life where you would not need to have somebody's permission if you were doing research on them. Anybody can help Sophia out. Think about things you do every day.
Like, it could be like you right now to us.
Yeah, or it could be somebody sitting in the back of the room and you don't know if they're watching me or if they're watching you. But you're here. This is everyday life. This is not, well, it's every other day for you guys, but this is what you do. So you would not need, as a researcher, to come up and say, Ty, can I have your permission if I watch you? Because you are just naturally here. Make sense? But I would need Ty's permission if if I brought him into a lab and I wanted to observe his behavior there. That would definitely be something that I would need his permission about. So informed consent. Are you okay with us doing this? I remember when I was in college years ago, it seems like now, I was at the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, and there were depending upon what college you go to, if you guys go on to school, psych departments are big or small, just like business departments are big or small. And this was a pretty big psych department, and there were signs all over that needed volunteers. Informed consent, like I know I'm going to go volunteer for some research. But because they get grant money, they pay people to do it. So college kids are usually pretty poor. Like we're always like, oh my God, I'll take $30, And at that time, the sign, I used to keep it and put it up in our classroom. I don't have it anymore. But it paid people to play video games. I don't know what they were observing, but can you imagine the amount of people that would be like, yeah, I'll go play video games for a few hours for some cash, and then you had informed consent. Is that okay? Will you agree to do this for us? That's what that means. So debriefing, Michael, Garrett, tell us what that is.
Told what the researcher was investigating and why.
Yep. Okay. So afterward, you need to actually tell them. So if somebody was sitting in this classroom, maybe they're observing if you guys were on your cell phones. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. But before you left for the day, they would need to say, Leah, we were counting how many times you were on your cell phone. And this is the reason why. We are going to use this number for our research. So that is what is morally and ethically, you're obligated to do that for people. Deception, Ava?
Must be minimal and not cause distress.
Okay, so deception means lying. So you might want to put that on there if you're kind of, because these two end up kind of sounding like the same. But sometimes you have to lie to the participants because you need to get the behavior you want. If you tell them ahead of time, this is the behavior we're looking for, they're obviously not going to do it. So that's why sometimes you have to lie to them. So it needs to be minimal. It shouldn't be something that's going to have a lifelong term of stress on themselves. Confidentiality, Corinne?
Names and data collected remain anonymous.
Pretty obvious there. I can publish, hey, I did a study about 6 high school girls in my AP Psych and 5 high school boys in my AP Psych, but I couldn't say the names of you guys. Risk, keep going. Ty?
Must be minimal. Think about the pain, anxiety, or dangers.
And even though that sounds like extreme, next unit we're going to read 4 different studies, and they were very extreme. Prior to the time the IRB board starts to put out these, one particularly you may have heard, it's a very famous study. It's called Stanley Milgram's shocking experiment, where he literally would hook up the participants to a shock machine, and then he would increase the voltage, and it was like minor electrocution was going on if they got it wrong. The only caveat was the participants were Confederates, meaning they were in on it and they really weren't getting shocked. They were great actors and actresses that acted like they were in pain, they acted like they were in shock. So what was he studying? He wanted to see the observers and how many of them would stop the shocks, stop the experiment, stop participating, or how many of them would continue. He caused those people a lot of stress and anxiety. I mean, imagine us sitting here watching each other get electrocuted. Like, if Chase is hooked up and I just sit here and say, Boris, continue, increase the voltage. And Boris is increasing it, Chase is over here screaming, ah! And we're all like, it would cause us some stress, I would think, because we're human beings. Risk, what kind of risk were involved? So that's just one classic example. Coercion, Chase.
Participant does not feel threatened or bribed to participate.
Yeah, and again, sounds pretty crazy, like, oh my God, who's going to threaten you or bribe you? But those are extreme words. If I was in college or even high school and I said, you guys we have to do this, participate in this, it's your grade, you have no choice. You do not have a choice to participate in this experiment. That's coercion. So you should have a choice to say, I'm not going to participate in that, or I am going to participate in that. So there's the difference. All right. Prisoners is a really good example, to be honest with you. Prisoners are in an institution where they often don't feel like they have choices, and their rights are taken away from them, obviously, for obvious reasons. But to go in and say, hey, we're going to do a scientific study on you, and you don't have a choice, that's against ethical and moral principles. All right, pretty simple, pretty straightforward, you guys. There's only 2 questions on your exam on this, but I can tell you, they like this. They like ethics. The end of the year when we're getting ready for your exam, I will hit you with 5 to 10 different examples, and you're going to need to pick out what ethical principle was violated. So we will come back and revisit these quite a bit throughout the year, especially our next unit. So what I would like you guys to do now is flip the page. Oh, I'm sorry, I should probably mention what I have at the bottom there, and I put it up here. The thing that researchers really have to consider is the gains that they're going to get versus the cost to participants. And this is my janky little scale that I drew up here. But If you're gaining a lot from your research and the cost of the participants is low, probably it's an okay study. But if you're gaining very little knowledge and your cost to participants, meaning all of these are on high alert, then we have to weigh out, is it really valuable research to the point where we should actually do that to human beings? So right now, we're just talking about humans. Now you can go ahead and flip the page. And on that very next page, I'd like you guys to circle number 1, 3, 4, and 6. 1, 3, 4, 6. By yourself, write down which of these 6, and some of them will have multiple, from those 4 questions were not met. And some of them will be duplicated. So read the scenario and then go ahead. Yep, next page. Oh. Already done the ones that are yes. Yep. Go ahead and just share with your elbow partner which ones you guys put for each. Obviously, we have an odd number on each side of the room, so like 3 and 2 of you. you know, what'd you put for this one, what'd you put for this one?
Okay.
Was your concern, so would you put the? That's it.
I put consent.
I said they didn't have informed consent, they didn't brief
Because it's something that
or
happens,
they,
like
they also
everyday
read
life,
more.
like you're gonna have to go to the
There
bathroom.
were what?
If nature makes you call, you gotta pick up the phone, so.
I don't even understand
That's
what
why I
that
just
means.
put it,
How, what do we mean not?
Well, I guess they.
So if he doesn't feel threatened, that's good, right?
Number three.
Number three.
Yeah.
What do you, yeah, would you feel threatened? Cause he's hit.
I didn't.
But I just said they
so I
weren't
started
worse,
wrote risk
so I don't know.
because it was like skin.
I said
sticks to
consent,
everything.
debrief, there's really no risk involved, and there was no like lying to or deception. Unless there would be deception because he's like hiding.
Sure.
Yeah.
Never like told them before.
I don't know.
I also put risk.
But you also can't run before.
Huh? I can't remember.
But they beat up the shop.
Yeah, I got consent, cause that one, I feel like that one's fine.
Yeah.
I consent because they didn't like consent to it, and then,
One consent, we never got that.
I can see the deception, they were hiding under people's
Like, I was
bed.
thinking of
It's
like,
just a little weird, but I
Because like they kind of
gotta do.
well, there's
$50
really,
to.
there's not really a risk.
yeah, it's kind of
Okay, so.
I'm a little bit of anxiety, I would say, but I don't know.
I didn't write it down, but like, that's the only one I could think of, the rest, they were told everything, said you were.
Yeah, I only have consent basically.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
had the same
Number
thing.
four, I had consent, deception, and
So they don't have.
yeah.
Good job. You did good.
I had consent, confidentiality, and risk.
All right, let's chat. Riley,
I don't know why I put risk.
which one stood out to you of those four that you thought, whoa, as far as the study was concerned?
Well, I thought two of them were weird. But,
Pick one.
Probably.
It's totally your opinion.
Probably four. How they hide
The
under
dorm room,
bed.
hiding under the beds. Yes,
Is that
so,
risky?
That is.
what's that?
Would that be risk?
Okay, so let's talk about it. What did you put down, Riley, for that one?
I put risk for that one.
Risk
Yeah.
is one of the 5 I put.
Hmm.
Yeah. So give me another one. Did anybody have anything else for number 4?
Confidentiality.
Confidentiality, I put as well. Informed consent, I definitely put as well.
Code.
Coercion, yes. Did we say deception?
Yeah.
And deception. So informed consent, deception, confidentiality, risk, and coercion.
Well, he said he was gonna keep the name like, not allowed names. to be
They,
public.
but they would. They said he said they would pay them $50 only if they allowed the name.
Yes.
He's not gonna accept $50.
Which is not good. Yeah, you still can't do that. You can't publish the names. So, the good thing is that all of you at least had something that you could identify. Because what you would get on an essay at the end of the year is you would get a scenario, and then you'd have to pick out one that's correct. It's not usually going to have this many to choose from. It's usually one that's a little bit, 1 or 2, that would be. Give me another one, Leah, that you stood out to you. 1, 3, or 6.
1.
Okay, the restroom one. Yeah, that's a good one. Very awkward. What did you say that they did not do?
Debris.
They did no debriefing. That's correct. Nice job. Any others? Did you guys have any others? Informed consent was not there. Yep. Even though I heard you, Boris, saying something about, well, everybody goes to the bathroom. Everybody goes to the bathroom, but you do not think that somebody is under the next stall. There's a level of privacy, kind of like that we've all
Isn't
now.
that illegal?
Yeah, I would think so. It would be. Yeah, there might go. Well, especially if you're videotaping too.
True.
There you go. Okay, one more. Informed consent, debriefing, and
Yes.
deception. Deception. Yep. So, do you feel pretty confident that you understand, here's a scenario, here are our lists, these 6 just need to be memorized, and what they are. Ty?
So I think think about is like with deception too. Is that like when the like hiding? Would that be
The lying,
like
the lying of the hiding, that's
Okay.
exactly it, yep, that's good. So what I want us to do is to just, for the last part of the class now, I'm gonna shift our focus onto animal rights and give you a true scenario of animal rights within science and research. I have some thought questions, I don't want you to do anything with these, but just take a look at them and kind of answer them in your own head as we are kind of going through the animal section. They do talk about it in your book for your reading as well. So, do all animals have the same rights?
No,
Okay, give me an example.
house pets have more rights.
Then,
Like a wild animal.
then a wild animal. Good example. Give me another example.
Yeah, oh my god. Oh, and land animals have more rights than water animals.
Oh. I did not think of that. Can anybody else think of in research where, what is often used in research? What type of animal?
Rats.
Rats. Does a rat have the same right as a, a dog, something like that? So that's something to think about as you're reading your cases that I'm going to give you here in just a second. Number 2, why do people think it's okay to spend $1,000 on their pet or their dog, but then you have somebody that's very needy who truly needs some help and they would never consider giving that stranger $1,000? Just a moral question there. And then would you turn down medical procedures for yourself or your family members because they were developed at the expense of animals? So, some people, even though in this class you might think this doesn't relate to you, it's not, that big of a deal, I think now more and more people are becoming, where they're eating no meat, you see that more and more than when I was your age, that was never in existence, that type of thing. I mean, you didn't hear about it very often. You see some of the specials that are coming out with like Netflix shows and different things, documentaries that are revealing the poor treatment on animals. We drink Fairlife milk, and recently that was one, I think about a year ago, maybe not quite, but they revealed a terrible exposure to what Fairlife was doing to their calves and to their animals. It's around us a lot more now, especially due to social media, just like everything else. So, let's put it in the context of thinking about peer research, all right? So what you're going to do is, Boris, you're going to hand out those to your side of the room, and then over here, Michael, yours are over there. Just give everybody one of those cases. You guys have a different case than they do. Don't write on these. I'm going to reuse these in my other classes. Use your packet as a little notepad, nothing major. But what I want you to do, here's your task. Read the case, write down 1 or 2 reasons why that case should go. Why that's a good, solid case. Why is that an important case? So if you were going to argue against them, what would you say why that's important? That case is good. Go ahead.
You don't know they started that.
It is. I want that.
You just wanna keep killing dogs?
But yeah, it's gonna help dogs in the future, aren't we?
Alright, that's good.
Okay, so you five are gonna go to the hallway with your packets. Probably should take this. All five of you need to write something different down. That's to go pro. Okay? You guys got there. You guys are gonna do the same thing with your group, but you're gonna do it in here.
We're talking about this, Michael.
Why do you do valid studies? So you're gonna debate with them in a little bit. They're gonna read your study and they're gonna say why this should not happen. You guys gotta come up with the reasons why this is good.
We do that as a group or individually?
Yes,
This is
so-
a great start.
So right now, the five of you are gonna discuss. Okay, each of you come up with a good reason.
It like says in there that like this cannot relate to humans, so.
That doesn't mean studies aren't good though, right? So there's two forms of studies, basic studies and applied studies. Basic studies are, I just need, out of curiosity, we wanna get this knowledge.
Tell us if it's genetic. Yes.
I mean, I just felt like the animals are gonna be treated well afterwards, so, you know, just like they get the
Yeah,
animals, right?
but that doesn't make it about study.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is, it's okay, because they're gonna be treated okay.
Yeah, but why are you studying them?
No, I was just talking about this thing, because that animal question's gonna be brought up, so I just wanted to answer that, and just get that out of the way, and then dive into the same part.
I mean, give them back to their mothers.
Not like, put in a box and then just left in a box.
It was early enough where they didn't really know anything beforehand anyway.
That's good, Ava. Chase, you got anything? Why that's a good one?
The amputations were painless.
I put they're just nice. Like if you had to fight against it, or say why, you know, like we're talking nice people. I also wrote, you're not really killing them. I think you guys said that. They really would never know. Those were a couple of mine.
They might know.
Leah, we're trying to say. I mean, could this be applied later? I think so, you know, definitely. Okay? Alright. So now what you guys are gonna do is you're gonna read, or keep talking, see if you can come up with anything else. What did you guys come up with?
I don't think it's that. Put your lights down, like, isn't that one, I think. Get that way.
Okay, so I think, at least that's what I heard, there's a little confusion of what was the point of this whole thing. So maybe we should clarify that before we argue that why we should have it. Anybody got any ideas? The point of this survey, not survey, study.
Just to figure out, like, their grooming techniques or.
All right, you guys now grab theirs. Boris, it's over there by you. Michael, it's over there by you. Read theirs, please.
I third game myself on
Right
camera.
there.
Oh, we need to give it to them, or?
You need to read the one that they just read, so you have a little bit of background knowledge.
We switched them.
I switched them.
Okay, I thought that's still Kate.
Hand them out, silly boy.
You want Mo?
I just wanted to get on camera, dude.
Michael, you could have said something.
I got on camera.
Good?
Is that your own fault, or is that just me?
I think it goes in.
Isn't my phone on?
I gotta put it on right now. It was.
After the meeting,
Oh, not really.
I didn't play it, was like, oh, stuff.
And we'll go.
What was kind of
5-foot-long, like, psychobiologist.
Psychobiology.
What's psychobiologist?
Psychobiology. She's a psychobiologist.
Not.
Is that lightning?
I saw it too. Yeah.
Let's go. No practice outside. Let's go.
Look at indoors, there's like different.
Did you read Michael and Ty?
Oh.
Yeah, I can like summarize it for you.
So you don't know.
Oh, thank you, that's actually so helpful.
And we'll actually be in the gym too because we're in the morning. Outside is fun.
I'm going to, okay, focus.
Focus, focus.
Focus.
All right, Chase, you're gonna take your group and you guys are heading out this time. Come up with some reasons as to why this is not a good study. So when they propose to you why it is, you can fight back a little bit. Same thing for you guys in here.
Yes.
So you have to find something good out of this one.
No,
What are they supposed to do?
you wanna find why this is a bad study, because they're gonna tell you why it's good, and you're gonna fire back and say, it's not good because of these reasons.
Okay.
Because they're killing mice.
They're killing dogs and the other one. You know,
Their front limbs are amputated.
Well, yeah, so they cut them off. But then-
They keep their back legs.
Oh, they're trying to see if they can walk like humans.
Yeah.
That's actually smart.
I feel like this one's like pointless.
yeah.
I don't know.
We're gonna find after found that stuff.
Well, and it's like, how are they supposed to be able to move? Because they can't just walk on their two back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what they're developing on, to become like humans. And walk on their back legs.
You're a little noisy.
Should not make rooming movements with their stumps.
That'd be kind of dope if like all the animals walk on two legs.
Do they die then? I think
No, they return to their mothers.
it's stupid. Alright, so they don't.
It's like torture, isn't it?
So it's the show if they can groom.
Yeah, I guess.
Animals will be well treated after the operation if they still lost their legs.
Well, and it's pointless because it
Oh,
says
I
it
showed
can't
you
be
the
directly applied to human behavior.
Yeah.
I
So
wrote
it's
some
like, what's the
videos
point
down.
of it then?
Yeah.
Said that the animals are, they amputate the animals at birth so they don't get the chance to live the life that they were supposed to live.
Good.
So,
Yep.
I don't even know what to say.
We're ready, guys. Come on back in.
Two came back to me like literally 2 weeks ago. Like, are you like 6 days? What you just met me for?
Got something for us?
Let's hear it.
That shot.
I dare you,
Jason's
Boris.
always the last one in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Chase, you don't even watch The Office.
I was the first one out, the last one in, you know what that means?
All right, Michael. Garrett, summarize your study to us, the one you read first.
Oh,
Just a real brief summary, because they just read it.
they're like taking dogs from like the shelter and they're doing procedures on them.
They're taking dogs from shelters to do procedures on them for a did you say benefit?
To benefit the later dogs.
To benefit later dogs.
Because they're about to die anyways.
All right, tell us why this is a good idea, Michael Duax.
Well, I was gonna say that they're like the animals were gonna die anyway. So
So they just got tigers.
like Might
Okay,
as well use them for like, research and stuff instead of just letting them die, like, and not getting any benefits from it.
okay, so the benefit would be to definitely that they're gonna die anyway, so we might as well use them for something. Corinne,
It said it was cost effective and it would end up saving a lot of money.
saves money, cost effective.
They're
Ms.
using,
DuPont?
they're using shelter dogs that don't even have a home anyways.
Okay, so
It's
these,
not like a personal thing.
okay, so they don't belong to someone. All right. Anything else, Michael or Ty?
Helps
Yeah,
train.
it's gonna help the dogs in the future by doing it now. So
In
they-
what way?
It's gonna make, like, make them healthier, like, we'll know what to do with them.
Okay.
We know why they're attacked somewhere. And
All right.
help 'em out.
So would you guys say this is basic or applied research?
Applied.
Yeah, because they're trying to come up with some type of solution to a problem. Over here, how would you guys say, what things would you say if you were the board to say, nope, we don't approve this? Why? What is wrong with it?
Do it.
It's your take.
Come on, hey,
Come on,
Well,
Chase,
there's
come on,
a-
swing.
There's apprenticeships in other countries such as England where they don't kill dogs. So I don't know why we couldn't just do that.
If we're more
and
advanced
save
in
the dogs' lives.
Money.
So other countries don't necessarily kill dogs like we do for research. Okay? Leah, do you have anything?
They could have been stolen or lost, so they could actually be people's pets, and we could be looking for them.
They could belong to somebody. Yep, good. Is it Sid? Sophia.
Like people will stop using the shelter. They know
Oh,
that like the dogs there are being used
okay.
for experiments.
Ava, can you think of anything else?
Dogs like could have been young or not have like any health problems, so they might not have been close to death anyways.
Okay. Boris?
Well, I mean, kind of going off like killing somebody's dog. Like I know it's like practicing, you're practicing a procedure so you can get better at it, but still you're a college student doing a procedure for the first time, you're bound to mess up. And so you could like kill somebody's dog.
Yeah, like who wants to kill man's best friend?
Exactly.
Right.
Like this.
How many of you, if you were on the board, doesn't matter if you were on the for or against side, would say this would be an okay research? Raise your hand, please, that you would support that.
Where's the?
Just a couple, a few of you? Okay, okay. Just a side note, 200,000 dogs are killed yearly in the United States for the point of research. So, just so you know. All right, summarize yours over here. Who would like to give us? Boris, can you give us a quick summary of yours?
I can try. So we got Dr. Fine here, who's trying to take rats at birth to see if their grooming techniques are a learned behavior that they see like through observation that they learn from their mother, or if that grooming technique is just naturally in their brain that they just sort of discover it over time. And so in order to see that, he amputates off the front paws, I guess, of the rat to see, just to make sure, 'cause, like, the rat might accidentally bump some dirt out of the way and all of a sudden it'll learn the grooming procedure that way. So he amputates the hands to see if he'll do it with, if the rat will do it with the stumps, to see if it's a learned procedure that he'll just naturally start doing it, or if it's just like if he sees his mom doing it, then he'll start.
And was yours basic or applied research?
I'd say basic.
Yeah, definitely basic. One test question on your exam on Thursday on that. Do you feel competent that you can identify basic versus applied research? Give me some reasons why this is okay. Ava?
They never really knew life before like pause, so they don't really remember it, so it's not really a big learning curve.
They never knew what life was like with pause. What a weird thing to say. Chase?
I got it.
They're just mice, so it's not like
Oh, really?
it matters.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just mice. Millions of mice and rats are killed yearly in scientific labs.
There's about 1 million chases on that.
Oh, Leah, do you have anything as to why? Shh.
Um,
Oh, crud! Crud! What were you gonna say?
So my rebuttal.
They're gonna get treated well, they're not getting killed.
What was your rebuttal?
My rebuttal was they're gonna see all their mice friends doing things that they weren't able to do.
Do mice think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything thinks.
Do they have the cognition that we do?
Yes.
No, they do not.
We don't know.
I bet they.
I do know
Yeah,
that.
we do know,
I
yeah.
do, they're pretty
Chase, are you on mice?
Have a great day. We'll see you Thursday. Good luck at your game tonight. We'll see you guys Thursday.
This kid's a little rat, that's what he is.
Good job, Michael, you really.
Check
did
out,
that.
make sure you know ethics today, ethics in animal and human research. Tomorrow we will be doing
Chase, do you even want to do?
careers.
I even like one of them.